Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Daysi DIY. Today I'm sharing with you guys my favorite Christmas DIYs. I hope you enjoy. If you do, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. For the first project, we're going to be using one wood sign that I got from Dollar Tree, and I had it from last year. So the first thing, I'm going to remove the image, but if you guys want, you guys can use the back of the sign to do this project. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. And to distress it a little bit more, I'm using the Waverly anti-wax, and I'm just using a piece of this bad sponge, and I'm going to distress the sign just on the edges, and I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to be using this beautiful free printable that I found on Google, and I'm going to cut it to the side of my sign, and then I'm going to place it with a little bit of Mod Podge. First, I put one coat of Mod Podge on the back, and then I put on the top of the sign, and I also sealed the image with one coat of Mod Podge, and I just let it dry. The next thing, I'm going to be using this stencil that I got from Walmart, and I'm just going to be placing on the bottom part. And the paint that I'm using, the Waverly paint on color moss, and I just did one coat, and once I was done, I just removed the stencil. And to distress it a little bit more, I just used that Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white, and I just distress it a little bit on the top of the trees and also on the top of the image so it can blend all together. I just create this beautiful bow made of this ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just place them all together, and I'm just going to be using a little bit of hot glue to put them on the top of the sign. I'm going to be using a few pieces of this greenery, and I just place it on the top of the bow, and I just use 2 pine coins, and I just place it on the side. And this is how it looks our sign once we're done. It turned out really beautiful. I love it, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next DIY, I'm going to be using 9 Jenga blocks, and I'm just going to be using wood glue and hot glue to glue them. And first, I just glued 2 pieces, and once I was done, I just glued one more piece on the bottom. We want to make these cute ornaments made of hats, and to paint them, I will be using this paint. The first one is the Waverly paint on color moss, and the second one is the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white, and the last one is the craft wash chalkboard paint. I also use the same paint to distress them a little bit. And once they're completely dry, I'm going to be using one piece of this ribbon that I got from Amazon, and I just cut it at the side of the ornament, and I'm going to be using hot glue to glue it. And also I'm going to be using a few pieces of these berries, and I'm going to place them on the top, and a few pieces of this greenery to put them on the side. And to give this effect of the snow, I just use a little bit of the paint. And the other 2 pieces, I just grab another different ribbons, and I just did the same step. And to hang this beautiful ornament, I just cut one piece of this jute twine, and I just use hot glue on the back to glue it. And this is how it looks, our beautiful ornaments once we're done. They turned out really beautiful. You guys can paint it of the color of your preference. I just use these colors, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For our next project, I'm going to be using this candy tray that I got from Dollar Tree, and I had it for a really long time. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. So you guys can see I didn't cover the tray all the way because I want the beautiful color red to show. And to distress it a little bit more, I just used a small piece of sandpaper and I just distress it at the way that I want my tray to be. I will be using one ornament that I got at home and I got it last year. Here's the item number just in case if you guys need it. So you guys can see my ornament, it has these two holes. So to fix that, I just placed this silver ribbon and I just cut it at the side that I need it, and I just use a little bit of hot glue to glue it. I just create these beautiful bows made of these ribbons from Dollar Tree, and I just use a little bit of hot glue to put it together. And once I was done, I just place it on the top of the tray and I just place the ornament too. I just use hot glue to glue it. I'm going to be using another Christmas pigs and I just painted so they can have this effect that they have snow, and for that I just use the Rust-Oleum chalk paint and I just use a little bit of the paint, and once they're completely dry I just place it on the side. Also I grabbed these two pine cones and I just place it on the top because it was missing something else. I will be using one bell that I got from Dollar Tree and I had it for a really long time, and to paint it I'm using the Waverly anti-wax. I just did one coat, and with a piece of paper towel I just removed a little bit of the paint and I just let it dry. And also with the same paint I just went over on the tray to distress it a little bit more, and it turned out really beautiful once you distress it with this paint. And I just placed the bill in the middle, and this is how it looks at tray once we're done. If you want to hang this beautiful tray on the wall, you guys can grab a small piece of jute twine and put it on the back, or you guys can just leave it the way it is. Please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? It turned out really gorgeous. I love it, but please let me know what do you guys think. For the next DIY, we're going to be using this shadow box that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just use a little bit of this spackling to cover this part of the shadow box, and I just let it dry completely. And to paint it, I'm using the craft wash chalkboard paint on color ink. I just did one coat and I just let it dry. I'm using this tote bag that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be using only the back, and I just use my scissors to cut it. What we tried to create, it's a pocket to put it on the top of the shadow box. I just cut it to size, and then I fold the side of the fabric this way, and I just use hot glue to glue it. And once we're done creating the pocket, I'm just going to place it on the top, and I'm just using a little bit of hot glue to glue it. The next thing, I'm going to use this stencil that I bought at Walmart, and the paint that I'm using is the apple barrel in color red. I just did one coat, and once I'm done, I'm just going to remove the stencil. I also decided to distress a little bit the edges of the shadow box, and for that I just grabbed a piece of sandpaper, and to put inside of the pocket, you guys can put anything. I'm gonna be just placing a few pics of this Christmas. I think it turned out really gorgeous once you're done, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For our next project, I'm going to be using one ornament that I got from Dollar Tree, and to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. So once it's completely dry, with a piece of sandpaper, I just went over all around of that ornament because it has all this detail, and once I removed the paint, it came out amazing. I'm going to be using a piece of this Christmas pick that I had on hand, and I just placed it inside of the ornament, and I cut a piece of this ribbon to the side that I want so we can hang the ornament, and I just use hot glue to glue it all together, and I just tied the top of that ribbon, and I just create these beautiful bows made of raffia, and I just place it on the top, and I decide to grab a few pieces of this pine cone and all these other pieces, and I just place it so it can blend a little bit better with this beautiful ornament. And also I decided to paint the leaves a little bit so it can give this effect that they have is snow. I don't know what happened with that part, but I distressed it a little bit more, the ornament, with the Waverly anti-wax. And this is how it looks, our beautiful ornament once we're done. It turned out really beautiful. I love it. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this beautiful ornament? For the next project, I want to recreate this beautiful sign that I saw at Dollar General this year. And to recreate this beautiful project, I'm going to be using one sign that I got from Dollar Tree. And to paint it, I'm using this paint that I got from Dollar Tree as well. And once I'm done, I'm going to put it to the side and let it dry completely. I'm going to be using 2 pieces of these painter sticks, and I want to show you the measurement just in case if you guys need it. The long one, it measures 8 inches, and the short pieces, it measures 4 inches. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. And I decided to distress the sign with the same paint, and I just went over just a few parts where it needs a little bit of this paint. I removed this image from the sign, and I decided that I want to reuse this part, and I just cut the parts that I want to put on my sign. If you guys are really good at drawing, you guys don't need to do this step. I'm going to be using this beautiful Santa piece that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be placing it on the top. You guys don't need to do anything with this beautiful sign. I think it's so beautiful already. And to glue it, I did a combination of wood glue and hot glue. and I decided to distress it a little bit on the edges, and for that I used the Waverly anti-wax. The next thing, I'm going to be using these stickers that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to be placing it in the small pieces. I put Santa stop here. To distress it a little bit, the pieces I went over with the Waverly anti-wax. I love to distress my pieces first, and once I'm done, I go over with the Mod Podge and seal everything. So once we're done, we're going to place the piece of the hands and the bell that I show you that I cut. So I did first one cut on the top of the sign, and I placed my piece of image, and I just sealed the image with another cut on Mod Podge. And now we're just going to place all the pieces together. First, I put the big piece on the bottom, and I just mark a line to guide from the line. I just placed the 3 pieces, and I just did a combination of wood glue and hot glue to glue them. I'm gonna be placing the 2 buttons, and these buttons I got it from Dollar Tree, and I just used hot glue to glue it. I'm gonna be reusing these pieces that I had on hand. Dollar Tree is now carrying like so many beautiful pieces, like just wood pieces. You guys can grab any piece or you guys have on hand, like just to use it as a base so we can place our sign. So I just placed a few pieces of the Jenga blocks so it can have this support art sign, but I think it'll be better to use like a big piece so it can have a strong support. It works the Jenga blocks. It did, because it's the pieces that I use for my sign, but I think it's way better to use a big piece so you guys can use like a screws so it can hold way better. I also use like a screws to put the pieces of the Jenga blocks, and it worked just fine, you know. And to reinforce it a little bit more, I did a combination of wood glue and hot glue. Also, once I was done placing my sign, I just did another 2 rows of Jenga blocks so it can has a little bit of more support the sign. And this is how it looks, our beautiful sign once we're done. I love it how it turns out. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For our next project, I'm going to be using 3 pieces of this cardboard that I had on hand, and I'm just going to be creating like cones so we can create this beautiful Christmas tree. I just used a little bit of hot glue to glue this remaining part, and once I was done with my scissors, I just cut the bottom part so it can stand up our Christmas tree. I'm going to be using these yarns that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be using this color. You guys can use the colors of your preference. So I just put a little bit of hot glue to glue first the top part. I just start wrapping it around on the piece of cardboard, and I just use a little bit of hot glue just in a few parts so we can hold the yarn. Once I reach the bottom part, I just use a little bit of hot glue to glue the remaining piece of the yarn, and with my scissors I just cut the remaining piece, and I just make sure that it stand up straight my tree. I'm gonna be using these Christmas fillers that I got from Dollar Tree last year, and I'm just gonna grab a few pieces to place it on the tree. And I did the same step with the other two trees, and this is how it looks our project once we're done. They turned out really beautiful. I love the colors, how they blend together. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, we're going to be using this wood decor piece that I got from Dollar Tree, and to paint it, I'm going to be using the Waverly anti-wax, and I just did one coat and I just let it dry. I just cut one piece of this tissue paper. I want to create this wonderful technique that Sandra and also Yvonne, they show us in their channel. I will link it down in my description box below, their channel, so you guys can see what they do. They're so talented. So first, I did one coat and I just placed the tissue paper. The brush, it needs to have a little bit of Mod Podge so you guys don't rip your tissue paper. So I did the same step until I cover all the sign. And once I was done, I did another coat on Mod Podge on the top. And I just let it dry completely. With a small piece of sandpaper, I just sand the edges so we can remove the extra paper, and it works really amazing because you don't need to cut it, but if you guys want to cut it, you guys can cut it too. I just went over with the Waverly anti-wax just to distress it a little bit on the edges. The next thing, we're going to be using this wood word that I got from Dollar Tree, and here's the item number just in case. And to paint it, I'm using the same paint, the Rust-Oleum chalk paint. I did one coat and I just let it dry, and I just create another bow, so I just put them all together. And the ribbons that I'm using, I had it on hand, the burlap ribbon, and the other ribbon, it's from Dollar Tree, and I just placed it on the top of the ornament, and I just placed the words in the middle, and I just use hot glue to glue it. But if you guys want a strong hold, you guys can use wood glue or E6000. Also, I decided to distress a little bit the letters so it can blend all together with the sign, and for that I just used the Waverly anti-wax. I just used a few pine cones and one Christmas pig, and I just put them all together in the middle of the bow, and it was the touch that I need. It turned out really beautiful, this sign. And like I mentioned, if you guys want to hang this sign, you guys can use a piece of jute twine or a piece of this plant hanger. I think it will look really beautiful. It has a hanger too. I'm gonna be using this wood tray that I got from Dollar Tree, and to paint it I'm using this Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white. So I'm gonna do one coat and I'm just gonna let it dry. I'm gonna be using the back of the tray on this project because the front part I'm gonna do it for the last project that we have. So I just did one coat and I just let it dry. Just gonna start creating lines, and for that I'm just using my ruler. So my wood tray, it measured 12 centimeters, so every 2 centimeters I'm just gonna start marking with my pencil, and once I'm done I'm just gonna start connecting the line. And to distress the lines I'm just gonna use my finger. Also, I'm gonna be using these stickers that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna start spelling the word Merry, but I decided to put the word Farm Fresh Christmas, and this is how it looks once you're completely putting the letters. So the next thing we're gonna be doing, I'm gonna be using this Mod Podge that I got from Dollar Tree as well, and I'm just gonna do one layer on the top, and for that I'm just using a small brush from Dollar Tree. So once I'm done, I'm just gonna let it dry. I'm going to use these stickers that I got from Dollar Tree as well, and I'm just using the trees to put them on the bottom, and to glue it I'm just going to use hot glue. Also, I'm going to be using this jute twine that I got from Dollar Tree. I decided to put 3 string on the side. If you guys want, you guys can just leave it with 2 or 3. I think it will look really pretty either way. And to glue it I'm just using hot glue. So you guys can see I'm just putting it all the way the strings. I decided to cut it on the end because I'm just using this tray to do 2 projects. So but if you guys are only doing 1 project, I think it will look really pretty on the top also. The next thing we're going to be using is going to be this ribbon that I got from Amazon, and I just create a small bow to put it on the middle, and to glue it I'm just using hot glue. Also, I'm going to be using these berries that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just put 3 berries together, and I'm going to put a few pieces of this greenery on the side. For my next project, I'm going to be using 3 pieces of that cardboard that I had on hand. I just want to create this beautiful church. I want to use this wood house that I got from Dollar Tree. I know that sometimes it's pretty hard to get the things that we show you in the video from your Dollar Tree. In my Dollar Tree, all the time it happens too that I don't get the same things that all these talented friends they always shows in their video, because my Dollar Tree, they don't have that many beautiful decor pieces, or sometimes they do have them. So I just marked the wood house and I just use my scissors to cut it. I'm going to be using this piece of wood that I had on hand. I just found this piece of wood one day that I was going to my Dollar Tree, and there were like few pieces of furniture that they were giving away, and there were big pieces. So the only thing that I grabbed, it was just this piece, because the pieces of furniture, they were too big, and to be honest, I don't have a space in my house for those big pieces. To paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did 1 coat and I just let it dry. I just used the same paint to paint the 3 pieces of the cardboard, and I did the same technique to put a little bit of a candle all over, and it worked really amazing on the piece of cardboard because it didn't cover it all the way because of the wax of the candle. It looks amazing, this piece of cardboard, so I really highly recommend it to use that technique on a piece of cardboard. Once they're completely dry, I just grab another piece of tape and I just place it on the top, and I'm just showing you how easy it was to remove the paint because it's just like cardboard, but it gives this beautiful effect that it's like wood. I just tried to create this door and the windows. First, I just start using my pencil to trace it. In the middle, I just used the Waverly anti-wax to paint it. I didn't like it very well, so on the end, I just grabbed a piece of this adhesive cord sheet that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just cut it to the side that I want my door and also the windows, and I just placed them. I just grabbed my sign and I decided to create lines. I just did 3 lines, and once I was done marking my lines, I always love to mark the lines twice so they can be a little bit dark, because once they're a little bit dark, it's more easy to distress the lines. And here's the part where I show you that I use the craft square adhesive cord sheet, and I just peeled up the sticker. I didn't use any hot glue to place them, but if you guys want, you guys can use. And to have this 3D effect, I decided to grab a few pieces of these craft sticks that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just used a little bit of hot glue to glue it. And once I was done, I just placed all the pieces together. So for me, it was more easy just to place the 2 pieces in each side. And once I was done, I just placed the other piece in the middle so it can be centered. I just used hot glue to glue it, but if you guys want a strong hole, you guys can use E6000. I'm going to use another beautiful decal, and I just show you how I did step by step. I just placed my decal inside and I just hold it for 60 seconds, and once I was done, I just grabbed a little bit of the water and place it on the top of the sign so it can be a little bit more easy to place the decal. And once I placed it, I just go really slowly to remove the bottom part, and with a piece of paper towel I just went over in the top just to smooth a little bit if it has any bubbles, and also to dry it. And it was really amazing how it turned out once you place this beautiful decal. But please let me know, what do you guys think? I'm gonna be using one Christmas pick that I got from Walmart, and I'm just gonna be placing it on the side, and I just use a little bit of hot glue to glue it. For the next project, I'm going to be using 4 pieces of these Jenga blocks, and I'm going to paint them with the Waverly anti-wax, and I just did 1 coat and I just let it dry. And I did the same step with the other 3 pieces. I cut 4 pieces of this tissue paper that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just used 1 layer of Mod Podge, and once I was done, I just placed my piece of tissue paper on the top, and with the same brush I just went over to do another cut so we can seal the tissue paper. And I did the same step with the other 3 pieces, and I just let it dry completely. I'm gonna remove that extra tissue paper on the side, and for that I'm just using a small piece of sandpaper. I'm going to be using a piece of this diamond wrap, and I'm just gonna cut a small piece, and I'm gonna be placing on the top of the Jenga block. I just want to give this effect perfect so we can hang our ornament. And I just use hot glue to put in, and also to distress a little bit the piece of diamond wrap, I just use the Rust-Oleum chalk paint, and I just use a little bit of this paint. And to hang this beautiful ornament, I just cut a small piece of this jute twine and I just place it in the middle. And this is how it looks, our beautiful ornaments once we're done. They turn out really adorable. I love it. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, I'm going to be using this beautiful sign that I got from Dollar Tree, and here's the item number just in case if you guys need it. So the first thing, I'm going to remove the image, and I just want to show you how easy it was to remove this image, but sometimes they're a little bit difficult to remove the image. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. To distress the sign a little bit more, I'm using the Waverly anti-wax, and I'm just distressing the sign on the edges, and I just distress it at the way that I want my sign to be. The next thing, I'm going to be using one image of this calendar that I had on hand. So I just mark it at the side that I need that image. I'm going to be using this Mod Podge to place my image, and I just did first one coat on Mod Podge on the back of the image, and once I was done, I did another coat on Mod Podge on the top of the sign, and I just placed my image, and with my hand I just trying to smooth a little bit the image so it won't have that many wrinkles. I decided to do another coat on Mod Podge on the top to seal the image, and I just did one coat and I just let it dry. And once it's completely dry, I just went over with the Waverly anti-wax just to distress the image a little bit so it can blend together with my sign. I'm going to use this nautical rope, and I just cut 4 pieces. So on the end of the rope, I just tie a knot so we can give this finished look. And to glue it, I just use a little bit of hot glue. I just place the 2 pieces together and I just twist it. And to hold the 4 pieces, I just grab a small piece of jute twine and I just wrap it around a few times so it can have this finished look on the handle. I'm going to be using this ribbon, and I just cut 2 pieces at the side of my sign, and I will be using hot glue to glue it. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really beautiful, this sign. I love the colors, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? I'm going to reuse these wooden bags for our next project. What I did, I used the Waverly anti-wax to paint it. I did one coat and I just let it dry. And I'm using 4 pieces of these wood cubes, and I will be gluing them on the bottom part of the wood box, and I'm just using hot glue to glue it. But if you guys want a strong hold, you guys can use wood glue. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. I didn't cover the wood box all the way because I want the brown to show a little bit. And to distress it a little bit more, the wood box, I use the Waverly anti-wax and I just distress it at the way that I want my wood box. The next thing, I'm going to be using this beautiful Snowman sticker that I had on hand, and I'm just going to be placing it right here in the middle, and I just use hot glue to glue it. Also, the snowman, it needs a scarf, and for that I just grab a piece of this ribbon, and also I just place one button, and to put inside of the wood box, you guys can place anything. I just gonna place this adorable Christmas tree that I had on hand, and I just want to show you on the other side I just placed another beautiful Christmas sticker. But if you guys want, you guys can just leave it without a sticker, and I think it will look really beautiful too. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, I will be using one ornament and a piece of fabric, and I will be covering the ornament all the way. I just cut a piece of jute twine to tie it very well on the top. I'm going to be using one Christmas pig and one pine cone to put it on the ornament, and I will be using hot glue to glue it. And to hang this beautiful ornament, I grab another piece of jute twine and I just place it on the back so we can hang this beautiful ornament. And this is how it looks, our beautiful ornament. Once we're done, it turned out really beautiful. You can create as many as you want, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, I'm going to be using a piece of cardboard that I had on hand, and what I did, I just cut it on the shape of the circle. If you guys want, you guys can use just a sign from a Dollar Tree. I know Dollar Tree is carrying now their amazing wood signs, and it will work just perfect. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. So you guys can see what I did. I just paint this part on the middle of that piece of cardboard. The other parts, we're going to be using the craft wash chalkboard paint on color ink. I did one coat, and to cover the white part in the middle, I just grabbed two pieces of the painter's tape so we can have a really clean lines. And once we're done, we're just going to remove the two pieces of the painter's tape. I'm going to be using these stencils that I found at my Walmart. They're really beautiful. I just grabbed two pieces of the painter's tape so we can hold the stencil. And to paint the hat, I'm using the paint on color red that I got from Dollar Tree. First, I did one coat and I just let it dry for a little bit, and I went over and I did a second coat. And to paint the letters, color that I'm using is the Waverly paint on color moss. I first went over and I did one coat, and it was a little bit light for me, so I decided to do another coat, and it turned out really beautiful because they were a little bit dark, the letters. And once we're done, we're just going to remove the two pieces of the painter's tape so we can remove the stencil. I decided to do a really thin line, and for that I just grabbed the 2 pieces of the painter's tape and I used the same color red that I used, and I just want to show you, you guys can create the lines or leave it without the lines, but I think that red lines and make it pop a little bit more the sign. And to distress the sign a little bit more, I just went with the same Rust-Oleum chalk paint and I just use a little bit of the paint, and once it's completely dry I went over with a piece of the sandpaper and to distress it a little bit more the sign. It turned out amazing. Once you do this, I love it because it shows a little bit more of the cardboard it's under, and it turned out like it's kind of like real wood. And I just create this beautiful bow and I just place it on the top, and I will show you in a minute how I create this beautiful bow. And also I just grabbed 2 pieces of these pine cones and another pieces just to place it in the middle, and I will show you in a minute. Also I just put a piece of jute twine all around of the piece of cardboard so it can has a finished look. I just create 2 side projects to give this effect of the snow. I just use the same paint and it turned out really beautiful once we give this effect of the snow. And this is how it looks, our beautiful sign once we're done. I love the colors, how they blend all together. But please, I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this beautiful sign? For the next project, I'm going to be using a few pieces of these woods that I had on hand. I just have this one a little bit bigger and the other one, they're a little bit smaller. And to paint it, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax, and I'm just using a small piece of this bad sponge to paint it. I did 1 coat and I just let it dry. The next thing, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white to paint the small piece, and I just did 1 coat and I just let it dry. I'm going to use this apple barrel in color red to paint the last piece of wood, and I just did 1 coat and I just let it dry. Also, I'm going to be using the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white to distress it a little bit. So I'm just using a little bit of paint. I just distress it at the way that I want it. So once it's completely dry, I'm going to be using this sandpaper to distress it a little bit. And once I was done, I just used a small piece of paper towel just to clean it. So the next thing, I'm going to be using this ribbon that I got from Amazon, and I just cut a small piece at the side that I needed, and I just used a little bit of hot glue to glue it. Also, I just create this small bow to put it right here in the middle. I'm going to be using a few pieces of this greenery and this berry to put it right here. And I'm just using a little bit of hot glue to glue everything. The next thing, I'm going to be using this rub-on transfer stickers, and I'm just going to be placing it this way. So with this little thing that I got from Dollar Tree, I'm just going to be scratching the letters. And once it was done, I just removed the plastic from the top. I'm going to be using this Mod Podge to do one coat so we can seal our letters. I'm going to be using these beautiful metal stickers that I have on hand, and I'm just going to be using this beautiful to place it right here in the middle. And I just use a little bit of hot glue to glue it. And with the last piece, I'm going to do the same step. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. I just want to show you how it looks if you want to just create one piece, if you want to recreate the 3 pieces, how they look all together. Please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? I'm gonna be using one ornament, and I have this beautiful ornament from last year, and to paint the edges I'm just using the craft white chalkboard paint. I did one coat and I just let it dry, and once it's completely dry I just went over with a piece of sandpaper just to remove a little bit of the paint because I want the wood to show a little bit. And to glue the ornament I'm gonna be just using hot glue, but if you guys want a strong hold I would recommend you guys to use X6000. And I'm just placing it on the other side of the metal container that we just did on the other project, and I just create another beautiful bow and also this raffia bow, and I just put it on the top. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really adorable, this 2-side project. I love it. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, I'm going to be using the other side of the shadow box that we did in our first project. So I just cut the piece of cardboard at the side of the shadow box, and I'm just painting it with the Rust-Oleum chalk paint, and I just did one coat, and I just placed the piece of cardboard. I just show you that I just put them inside. I just used a little bit of hot glue to glue the piece of cardboard. I just removed the hanger, and also I just covered the holes with some spackling. I'm gonna be using these Christmas pigs that I had on hand, and to give this effect that they have snow, I'm just using the same Rust-Oleum chalk paint. The next thing, we're going to be using another beautiful ornament that I got from Dollar General. I got it last year. Once I place my ornament, I'm going to be using hot glue to glue it in the middle. And once we're done, we're going to put the Christmas pig on that side. And also, I just create this beautiful bow, and I'm going to place it on the other side. It was really simple to create this bow. The other thing that I need in the middle of the bow, I just used a few pieces of the berries, and it was the touch that I need. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really gorgeous. I love this 2-side project, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For our next project, I'm going to be using one ornament and a piece of this burlap that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just cut it at the side that I need, and I just cover my ornament all the way, and I just grabbed one piece of jute twine to tie it very well. And once I was done, I just grabbed one Christmas pick that I had on hand, and I just gonna place it on the top of the ornament, and I just use hot glue to glue it. Also, I decided to grab one pine coin and place it on the middle, and to hang this beautiful ornament, I just grab another piece of jute twine and I just place it on the back. And to give this beautiful effect of the snow, I just used that Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white, and this is how it looks, this adorable ornament. Once we're done, it turned out really beautiful, but please let me know what do you guys think about this project. For the next project, I'm going to be using the other side of the sign, and to paint it, I'm using the Waverly anti-wax. I just did one coat and I just let it dry. I'm going to use another beautiful free printable that I found on Google, and I just cut it at the side of my sign. And to put the image, I just did first one coat of Mod Podge on the back of the image, and once I was done, I did another coat of Mod Podge on the top, and I just placed my image, and with my hands I just smoothed the image so it won't have that many wrinkles. I always love to do this technique because it worked just amazing. To seal the image, I just did another coat on Mod Podge and I just let it dry completely. If you guys want, you guys can leave the sign of the color that I just showed you that we painted, but I didn't like it how it looks, so I went over with the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white, and I just did one coat and I just let it dry. I'm going to be using a piece of this cord sheet that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm going to be using the Craftwise chalkboard paint on color ink, and I just traced with a pencil 25 cents, and with the brush I just went over to paint it. And to distress the sign a little bit more, I used the Waverly anti-wax. It was the touch that I need the sign, and it turned out really beautiful once you distress the sign. Once I was completely dry, I just went over with the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white just to distress it a little bit so they can blend all together with my sign. And once I'm done, I just gonna be placing the piece of cord sheet on the top. If you guys want, you guys can use hot glue to glue it. One of my subscribers, she mentioned that the adhesive that they have is pretty strong, so I just place it this way, and I just create another beautiful bow. If you guys want me to show you how I create this bow, please let me know in the comments down below and I will show you. And I just place it on the top. I'm gonna be using two bells that I had on hand, and I just placed it on the middle of the bow. It was missing something, and that's the touch that I need. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really beautiful, these two side projects, but please let me know what do you guys think about this project. For the next project, I'm going to be using 6 painter sticks that I got from Amazon. So what I did, I just placed them first, all the painter sticks. And for me, it was more easy to grab the ruler and mark it with my pencil so we can give the shape of the tree. And once I was done with my cutter, I just cut the painter stick. And the one that we're using in the middle, I didn't cut it. I just used the whole piece. And once I was done with a piece of the sandpaper, I just sand the edges of the painter stick, and to paint it, I'm going to be using the Waverly anti-wax. I just did one coat and I just let it dry. Also, I decided to paint on the back because once we place all the pieces together, I know from the back it will show if it's not painted. I'm gonna be using one wood crate, and here is the item number just in case if you guys need it. And to paint it, I just used the same Waverly anti-wax. I just did one coat and I just let it dry. Okay, the next thing, I'm gonna be using one wood cutting star that I got from Dollar Tree, and to paint it, I'm using the same paint, the Waverly anti-wax. I did one coat and I just let it dry. I want to give a try for this wonderful technique that Sammy from Unicorn does design. She just showed us in a video, and I will link it down in my description box below the technique. So what she did, she just grabbed a candle and she just rubbed it on the piece of wood. In this case, I'm just using the painter sticks, and the more wax you put onto the piece of wood, it's gonna give this distressed look and it's gonna look really beautiful. So she got this technique from this talented friend Deidre from our Upcycle Life, and I will link it down below her channel also so you guys can see this wonderful technique. So it was my first time doing this technique and I really love it because I'm really into like farmhouse distress, and this technique, it worked just amazing. I did this technique with all the pieces of the painter stick and also with the wood crate and the star because I want all the pieces to blend all together. And to paint it, I just used the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let dry all the pieces. Here it comes the fun part. I just grab a piece of tape and I just place it on the top, and with my hand I just rub on a few times and I just remove that piece of tape, and it was amazing how easy the paint it came off. And I just want to show you with that wood crate, I did the same step. This time I grabbed a big piece of tape and I just place it on the top, and again with my hand I just rub on a few times, and once I was done I removed that tape, and it's really amazing, this technique. I love it. But please let me know in the comments down below, have you guys tried this technique? The next thing, we're gonna put all the wood pieces together, and for that I'm just doing a combination of wood glue and hot glue for a strong hold. And once I was done, I just placed the star on the top. And I just want to show you, you guys can place the wood Christmas tree outside of the wood crate or inside. It's your preference. I decided to place it outside of the wood crate, and I just did the same step. I used wood glue and hot glue to glue it. I'm gonna be using another beautiful decal, and I just place it inside of the water, and I just hold it for 16 seconds, and once I was done, I just place it on the top of the wood crate. I just remove the part of the decal really slowly, and once I was done, I just used a paper towel just to smooth a little bit if it has any bubbles, and to dry it. And to put inside, you guys can use these Christmas picks that I got from Walmart. You can place a few pieces and I think it will look really beautiful, or these other type of Christmas picks. And I'm just showing the item number just in case if you guys need it. For this next project, I'm going to be using this heat transfer paper. This one is this for dark fabric, and the packaging, it comes with Temp sheet. And I just want to show you on the back, it has all the instruction step by step what to do, and it was really easy to follow these instructions. So I just want to show you how the paper it looks. From one side white, and from the back it looks like these blue lines. When you're placing your paper in the printer, you want to print your image on the white part. Also, it comes with 2 pieces of the parchment paper. It was really easy to do this project, and I just choose this image, and I'm just showing you on the white part I print my image. I'm gonna be using my scissors to cut the image, and I just cut it the closest it could be to the image, and I just place my image on the top. And for that, I just grab one piece of this fabric that I got from Dollar Tree. I cut it to the side that I need, and I just peel up the backing of the paper from the back, and I just place it on the top. And I grab a piece of the parchment paper to place it on the top of the image, and with my ironing, I just went over on the top and for 30 seconds. And once I was done, I removed the parchment paper. It was really easy to do it, and it turned out really beautiful. So let's put it to the side, and let me show you what else do we need for the next project. I'm gonna be using one wood truck that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna remove the hanger and also the image. First, I was gonna remove all the image, but in the end, I decided not to remove this part of the tires because I really love it how it looks, the color, and I don't need to be painting the tires. So what I did, I grabbed my ruler and I just start marking it with this pocket knife. So once I remove the image, it won't come this part. And to paint it, I'm going to be using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color grade. I did one coat and I just let it dry. And to distress it a little bit more, I went over with this other paint, the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. First, I love to use just a little bit of the paint, and once I'm done, I just go over in just a few parts where it needs a little bit or more that distress. I always love to do this technique to distress my signs. I just grabbed my piece of fabric that I showed you on the beginning what we did. I'm going to be just using hot glue to fold this part of the fabric. We want to create this pocket to put it on the top of the truck. So I just fold the edges of the fabric twice, and I did the same step on the other 2 sides. You guys can see what I'm doing right here, how I fold the other remaining piece of the fabric on the top, and I just create the pocket at the side that I need for my truck. I just kind of eyeball it. I didn't measure anything, and once I was done, I just used use hot glue to put it on the top of the truck, and I just cut one piece of the adhesive cord sheet to place it on the top to give this effect of the window, and also to cover the two holes that they have to hang this truck. Or if you guys want to hang this beautiful sign, you guys can just trace the same holes on the top of the piece of cord sheet, and you guys can put like a piece of jute twine. You guys know that I love to use this plant hanger. You guys can put like a piece and it will look really beautiful too, but I decided not to. I just placed that piece of cord sheet all the way to cover the holes, but it's like preference what you guys want to do with this beautiful sign. And to distress on the edges of the truck, I just went over with the Waverly anti-wax, and to put inside, you guys can put these beautiful Christmas pigs, and I just pull apart all the pigs to place it inside. And also I create these bows made of Dollar Tree ribbon, and I just place it on the side. I was gonna leave like the truck without bow, but I'm like, it needs something else, and I just used 3 berries to put it in the middle. It turned out really beautiful once you place all these bows together. For my next project, I'm going to be using the other side of the wood sign. So I just did the same step. I used the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white, and I just did one coat and I just let it dry. And once it's completely dry, I just went over with my ruler and my pencil, and I just start creating lines, and I'm just gonna do 3 lines. And once I'm done with my finger, I love to distress the lines. I'm going to be using another water slide decal paper, and I just show you how I create it and how I use the spray clear sealer to seal the image. And I just place it inside my glass container. It was a little bit smaller for this big image. Once you just leave it for 60 seconds, it comes out really easy, the image. I just use a little bit of the water to put it in the sign, and it works amazing because I just can move the image and place it like in the middle. And with the paper towel, I just went over and remove a little bit of the bubbles, and to dry the image, I just grab 2 pieces of the painter sticks. I just show you how I cut them to the side of the sign and how I painted with this beautiful red color. The only difference that I'm going to do with this other side of the sign, I want to distress the 2 painter sticks a little bit more. So I just went over with the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white, and once they were completely dry, I didn't like it how they turned out. It was kind of like this pink color, so I just went over with a piece of sandpaper just to remove a little bit of the paint, but it didn't work out. At the end, I went over with the same red paint, painted a little bit more because, like I said, it was like this pink color. And to put the 2 pieces of the painter sticks, I just used wood glue and hot glue. I just grabbed 4 pieces of this jute cord that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just cut it to the size that I need. So what I did on the bottom of the jute cord, I just tie it so it can has this nut on the end. I place it on the 2 holes that it had the sign so it can cover. I place the 2 pieces on the front and the other 2 pieces on the other side. of the sign, I just start twisting the two pieces of the jute cord, and to hold the remaining piece of the jute cord, I just use hot glue. And once I was done, I grabbed this jute twine and I just wrap it around a few times, and I just cut the remaining piece. And also, to have a finished look on the top of the hanger, I just cut it. If you guys don't want to recreate this hanger, you guys can use the same piece of the hanger that it had the sign, or you guys can use a piece of this plant hanger. I think it will look really beautiful too. I'm gonna be using these beautiful Christmas picks that I got from Walmart, and I just use a few pieces to put them on the bottom, and I create another beautiful bow and I just place it in the middle. And also I grabbed these red berries that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just cut a few picks to put it. It was a touch that I need on the bottom. It turned out really beautiful. I love it, but if you guys want, you guys can just leave it without the greenery. For the next project, I'm going to be using a few pieces of the cardboard, and I just cut it on the shape of the tree. I just bend the piece of cardboard just a little bit to give more texture to the pieces, so once we paint it, it gives this effect that it's wood. I love the effect that it gives once you paint it. And I'm gonna do this beautiful technique that I love. I'm gonna be using that candle just to go all on the piece of cardboard. In the other videos that I show you this wonderful technique, I fall in love because once you paint it, it gives this wonderful effect, and you guys can just use a piece of tape to remove a little bit of the paint. But I didn't do it this time because just with all the bending on the cardboard we did, it turned out really amazing. And once we placed the wax of the candle, it was beautiful once I was painting it. And also I paint on the back of the piece of cardboard because once we place all the pieces together on the back, it's going to show that it's just a plain cardboard that we use. So I would recommend it to paint it on the back. I'm using this beautiful base that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just using the same paint to paint it. First, I did one coat and I just let it dry. And once it was dry, I went over with another coat so we can cover it all the way. And to distress it a little bit more, I just went over with the Waverly anti-wax so we can keep this effect. It's wood, and I went a little bit heavy with the anti-wax, so I just grabbed a piece of sandpaper and I just removed a little bit of the paint, and it worked amazing. We're gonna be using this wood letters that I got from Dollar Tree, and to paint it I'm using the Waverly anti-wax. I just did one coat and I just let it dry, and once they were completely dry, I went over with the Waverly paint on color moss just to give a little bit of color on the letters. To me it was just plain the color. I didn't like it, and I'm thinking right now too, I think it will look really beautiful on color black. I decided to distress the pieces with the same Waverly anti-wax so it can blend all together with the base and the letters. And I'm just using this jute twine to give this more finish on the edges. So that's the reason why I decided to cover it. And I just went all around until I covered the whole piece. And I did the same step with all the other 4 pieces. So here comes the fun part to place all the pieces together, and for that I'm just using a few pieces of the Jenga blocks so we can keep this support on the back, and also just to give this effect that it's like 3D. I hope you guys can see. I'm just trying to put just the big piece, and once I place that big piece I went like the middle pieces, the small ones, and once I placed them I'm like it turned out really beautiful. And once I was done, I want to put this beautiful garland all around. I should done that before I placed all my pieces because it was a little bit hard to put it. So I just want to mention that if you guys want to put the beautiful garland all around, make sure to do it before you place all the pieces in the base. And I just want to say too, like the piece of Jenga blocks, I wish I paint those on color white so it can blend all together. I'm going to be placing the wood letters on the front part of the base, and I'm just using hot glue to glue it. You guys can use wood glue for a strong hold. And this is how it turned out, this beautiful piece. I love it. It gives this effect that it's like wood, the pieces of cardboard. If you guys love this brown color of the garland, you guys can leave it. But I was thinking too, I think it will look really beautiful to paint it on color white just to give that effect that it has a snow. I think it will look really beautiful too. Let me know what you guys think. Should I paint it? For the next project, I'm going to be using this small sign that I had like few years and I never use it, but today is our lucky day to use it. So what I did, I removed the part of the image and also the heart, and I'm using another beautiful free printable. I found this beautiful free printable on Google, so I just mark it to the side of the sign, and I'm gonna be cutting the extra paper on the side. And once we're done, I'm gonna do first one coat of Mod Podge on the back of the image and one coat on the top of the sign, and I'm gonna place my image. Like I mentioned before, I love to do this technique because it won't have that many wrinkles once we do this technique. And also I did another coat on Mod Podge on the top so we can seal that image, and I let it dry completely. The next thing, we're using two painter sticks that I got from Amazon, and I cut it to the side of the sign. I'm gonna be using the two of the handles, and I just did a hole in the middle so we can hang this beautiful cutting board that we're gonna create. And I'm just using a piece of sandpaper just to sand the edges of the painter sticks. And to paint it, I'm using the Waverly anti-wax. I did one coat and I just let it dry. And with the same paint, I decided to distress it a little bit on the edges, and it turned out really beautiful once you distress it. I love it how it turns out. And like I said, you guys can distress your pieces the way that you guys want. I always love to do a little bit of the paint, and once I'm done, I go a little bit heavy. And you guys know if I go a little bit heavy, I go over with a piece of sandpaper and remove a little bit of the paint. That's how I distress my pieces all the time. And to put the two pieces of the painter sticks, I'm just using wood glue and hot glue to glue them. And I just place the piece on the top and the other piece on the bottom, and I just glued the two pieces of the handles. I did the same step and I just glued them together, and I just glued the handle on the back of the sign, and I just placed it on the middle to reinforce it a little bit more. I just went over on the back with a little bit of hot glue, and I'm gonna be using one piece of this jute cord. It was missing something on the top of the handle, so I just cut a piece and I just glued it. If you guys want to leave it the way it is, I think it looks beautiful, but I decided to use two small jingle bells, and I just use the Waverly anti-wax just to distress it a little bit more so it can blend more with the beautiful cutting board. And I just grabbed two pieces of the jute twine and I just put them on the top of the jingle bell. So if you guys want to place them in the middle, or if you guys want to place it on the bottom of the jute cord, I think it will look beautiful too. But I decided to place them here in the middle, and I just glue them, and this is how it looks. I love it. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, we're going to be using this box that I had on hand. It's just a plain box, and I think it's really beautiful. So to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. Also, I decided to paint the edges so it can have a finished look. The next thing, I'm going to be using these wood stickers, and I'm just going to be using these candy canes. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. So this is how it looks once they're completely dry. So the next thing, I'm going to be using this apple barrel in color red to paint it. I'm going to guide from the lines that it had the wood stickers, and I just did one coat and I just let it dry. Also, I did the same step with the other one. The next thing, I'm going to be using this craft white chalkboard paint on color ink, and I'm just going to be painting inside of the bow, and I just did one coat and I just let it dry. Also, with the same paint, I decided to distress the edges of the box, and I'm just using this small brush that I got from Dollar Tree, and also I'm just using my finger to distress it a little bit more. The other thing that I decided to do to create lines, so my box it measured 4 inches, so every inch I just mark my line, and once I'm done I just connect the lines. And once I was done connecting the line, to distress it, I'm just using my finger. The The next thing, I'm going to be using these stickers, and I'm just going to be spelling the word by Sense candy cane. So I'm just going to guide from the lines that we just create to put my letters, and this is how it looks once you're done. So the other thing, to create the sense, I just used the C and I just used the I, and I just cut it on half the I so it can be a little bit short. So once I was done, I used a little bit of my Podge to seal the letters. I'm going to be using this diamond wrap, and I just cut a small piece to put it right here in the middle. So once we're done, we're just going to place that two candy canes this way, and I just used a little bit of hot glue. The other thing that I decided to do, I used a few pieces of the greenery and also this berry, and I just used a little bit of hot glue to glue it. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. I think it turned out really beautiful. I just love it. If you guys don't have this box, I'm so sure that you can recreate this project with something from Dollar Tree. For our next project, I'm going to be using one wood sign that I got from Dollar Tree, and to paint it, I'm using the same paint, that Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry completely. And to distress it a little bit more, I went over with the Waverly paint on color moss. First, I did the edges, and once I'm done doing the edges, I go inside of the wood sign just to distress it a little bit more. Don't be afraid to distress your pieces. Once you distress it and you go a little bit heavy with the paint, it's really easy fix. I want to show you this part. I went a little bit heavy, and to fix it, I went over with the same Rust-Oleum chalk paint, and to distress it a little bit more, I went over with the Waverly anti-wax. I'm going to be reusing this piece of the calendar that I cut from a project that I create for you guys, and I didn't throw away this piece, so I just cut it to the side of my sign, and I did first one cut on Mod Podge on the back of the image, and once I'm done, I did another cut on Mod Podge on the top of the sign. For me, it's way easy to do this step so it won't have that many wrinkles, and it works amazing. I did another cut on Mod Podge on the top to seal the image, and I did let it dry completely. I'm going to be using these beautiful bows that I create. I always forget to show you step by step, and I promise I will show you how I do it. I'm going to be using also these Christmas fillers, and I just place a few pieces. I want to show you that my daughter showing that if you guys want, you guys can use these pieces too, and it will look really beautiful too. I decided to cut two pieces of this ribbon, and I just placed one on the bottom and the other one in the top. I just used hot glue to glue it. If you guys want to hang this beautiful sign, you guys can use just a piece of jute twine and put them on the back. If you guys want, you guys can use a piece of this plant hanger. I think it will look really beautiful too. the next project, I'm going to be using this beautiful wood piece that I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to be using another beautiful pre-printable, and it comes with the same pre-printable that I showed you in the beginning. I just placed my piece of wood on the top and I just use my pen to trace it, and I'm going to be using my scissors just to cut it. And once I'm done, I'm going to be doing on the back one cut on Mod Podge, and I just did another cut on Mod Podge on the top. The next thing, we're using a piece of wood that I had on hand. If you guys don't have it, don't worry about it. You guys can grab 2 pieces of the Jenga blocks, use a little bit of hot glue to glue the 2 pieces, and paint it with the same color or the color of your preference. And I want to show you this part. My image, it was a little bit bigger on the edges. To fix that, I just bend it a little bit and it worked amazing. If you guys want, you guys can use your scissor to cut it. I decided just to paint the edges with the same color so it can blend with the base that we're going to put it on the bottom. And to glue the base, I'm just using hot glue, but if you guys want a strong hold, I would recommend you guys to use wood glue. So once I glued the base, I didn't like it how it have this gap between the base and the piece of wood tree. So to fix that, I just grab this jute twine and I just wrap it around a few times, and I just use hot glue to secure the remaining piece on the back, and I just create this beautiful raffia bow. It was just simple how I created, and I just place it on the middle. It was the touch that I need. It turned out really adorable. I love it. But please let me know, what do you guys think? For our next project, I'm going to be using this metal container that I had on hand. You guys can use either a sign or a piece of cardboard, and you guys can cut it at the circle shape. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did 1 coat and I just let it dry. Also, I decided to paint up the back so it can has a finished look. I'm going to be using this craft white chalkboard paint on color ink, and I'm just using a little bit of this paint to give this enamel chipping effect. And to distress it a little bit more, I'm using the Waverly anti-wax, and once it's completely dry, I just went over with this piece of sandpaper just to remove a little bit of the paint. And once you do that, it turned out really beautiful once you're done distressing it a little bit more with the piece of sandpaper. I'm going to be using this ornament that I got from Dollar General, and here's the item number just in case if you guys need it. I just grabbed a piece of this ribbon from Dollar Tree and I just create this bow to put it on the middle. And once I was done, I just placed the ornament inside, and I just used 1 pine coin to put it in the middle. I just used the same paints to distress a little bit the ornament, and this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really adorable. I love it. But please let me know, what do you guys think? For the next project, we're going to be using one Christmas wood decor that I got from Dollar Tree, and here's the item number if you guys need it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to be removing this image from the front part and also this part, and this is how it looks once you're completely done. So I just remove everything because I decided that I just want to paint all these parts. So once I'm done, I'm going to be using this craft wash chalkboard paint on color ink that I got from Dollar Tree. To paint it, I'm going to be using this brush from Dollar Tree. So once we're done, I'm going to be painting also the edges. And also, I decided to paint the back of the wood decor so it can have a finished look. Also, I'm going to be using one piece of scrapbook paper that I had on hand. I'm just going to be tracing it with my pencil, and once I trace it, I'm just going to use my scissors to cut it. So the next thing we're going to be using, it's going to be this Mod Podge that I got from Dollar Tree. So I just did one layer, and once we're done, we're just going to put a piece of the scrapbook paper on the top. So once we're done, we're just going to let it dry. I'm going to use this clothespin that I got from Dollar Tree as well. So I'm just going to remove this part from the clothespin so we can paint it. And to paint it, I'm going to be using this craft wash chalkboard paint on color ink that I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to do one coat and I'm just going to let it dry. And this is how it looks once it's completely dry. So I'm going to be using this 6000 that I got from Walmart. Also, I'm going to be doing a combination with hot glue so it can have a strong hold. The next thing we're going to be using, it's going to be this ornament that I got from Dollar General. Also, I'm going to be using these berries that I got from Dollar Tree, and also a few pieces of this greenery that I'm going to put it right here. So to glue it, I'm just going to use hot glue. I'm going to use the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white that I got from Amazon. So I'm just going to be painting a little bit this part of the ornament. Once we're done, we're just going to put the ornament right here. You guys can put anything, it will look really pretty. And to hang our wall decor, you guys can just leave it how it is. I decided to use the same jute twine that I came with this wall decor. So I just create this nut on the front. So once I create it, I'm just going to use the hot glue to glue it. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, I'm going to be using 4 tumbling blocks, and to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. The next thing, I'm going to be using these stickers, and also I'm going to be using this Mod Podge. So first I did a coat on Mod Podge, and we're just going to place our letters. And once I place the letters the way that I want it, I'm going to do another coat on Mod Podge on the top. And this is how it looks once you're done. I just create the other 3. And also I'm going to be using a small piece of jute twine, and I'm just going to be cutting it at the side that I want it so we can create this hanger to put it on our Christmas tree. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of hot glue to glue it. The other thing, I just use one berry to put it right here in the middle, and I just used a little bit of hot glue to glue it. Also, I used the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white to give this effect that it has a little bit of snow. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. I think they turned out really adorable, but please let me know what you guys think. For the next project, I'm going to be using this word sign that I got from Dollar Tree, and here's the item number if you guys need it. Also, I'm going to be using this Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax. I got it at Walmart. And to paint it, I'm going to be using a piece of this natural bus sponge that I got from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to do one coat and I'm just going to let it dry. Also, I'm going to be painting on the back of the word so it has a finished look. The next thing we're going to be using is going to be a frame. I'm going to be reusing this frame that I have on hand. So what I did, I just cut a piece of cardboard that I have. So I'm going to be using my ruler to mark my lines. So every 2 inches, I'm going to mark it with my pencil. Once I mark it, I'm just going to start connecting that line just like this. Once we're done creating all the lines, so we're just going to start distressing it, and for that I'm just going to use my finger. Also, I'm going to be using this color pencil, and the color that we're going to be using, it's color brown. So I'm just going to mark the lines just like this. And this is how it looks once you're done. So now I'm going to be using the color black, and I'm just going to mark a little bit the lines again. I know in the video it doesn't show that much the difference, but in person it shows really beautiful, the color brown and black together. So once we're done, I'm going to start distressing it, the lines. And now we're just going to start putting our frame together. So once we put it together and everything, we're just going to use the word to put them on the top of the frame. And to glue it, I'm just going to use hot glue. But if you guys want a strong hold, I would recommend you guys to use wood glue. Also, I'm going to be using these lavender picks that I got from Walmart. So I'm just going to cut a few pieces and I'm just going to place them on the frame just like this. To glue it, I'm just going to use hot glue. So I just want to show you with any ribbon that you guys choose, it will look really pretty. But I decided to use this small ribbon. So to glue it, I'm just going to use hot glue. I decided to put some berries on the middle because it was missing something in the ribbon. So I'm just going to place 3 berries in the middle just like this. And to glue it, I'm just going to use hot glue. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, we're going to be using this decor that I got from Dollar Tree. And here's the item number if you guys need it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove the paper from the top and also this part, and this is how it looks once it's completely removed the paper and this part. Also, I'm going to be using this Craftswise chalkboard paint on color ink that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to do one coat and I'm just going to let it dry, and once it's completely dry I'm just going to do a second coat. So once it's completely dry, I'm going to start removing the paint a little bit with my finger, and once I remove the paint so it can have this distressed look that I want. Also, I'm going to be using this matte Podge that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to do one coat and I'm just going to let it dry, and once it's completely dry I'm going to do a second coat. The next thing we're going to be using is going to be this calendar that I found at Dollar Tree. So once you have your paper cut and everything, we're going to be using Mod Podge to put it on the bottom, and also to put it I'm going to be using this sponge that I got from Dollar Tree as well. So I'm just going to do one coat. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to place my piece of the calendar on the top. Once I put it, I'm going to be using a piece of plastic, so I'm just going to start smoothing the bubbles that I got from the paper on the top, gentle, so I won't rip the paper. So this is how it looks once it's completely done. Also, I'm going to do another coat of Mod Podge on the top. So you guys can see the paper and the edges, it's a little bit bigger. So to fix that, I'm going to be using a piece of sandpaper and I'm just going to sand the edges, just like this. So once it's completely dry, we're just going to start gluing it on the top just like this. And to glue it, I'm just going to use hot glue. But if you guys want, you guys can do a combination with E6000. I decided to create just a simple bow, and for that I just grabbed this ribbon that I had on hand and I just placed it on the middle, and this is how it looks, the project once you're done. I think it turned out really beautiful, but I decided to do one more step. So for that I just grabbed a few pieces of these red berries that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just grabbed a few pieces and I just placed it on the top of the sign, and to glue it I just use a little bit of hot glue, and this is how it looks, the project once you're done. It turned out really beautiful, the second option, but please let me know what do you guys think. For the next project, I'm going to be using one wood sign that I got from Dollar Tree. And here's the item number just in case if you guys need it. And to paint it, I'm going to be using this Craftswise chalkboard paint on color ink. I did one coat and I just let it dry. And to distress a little bit more the sign, I just used the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white, and I just went over just in a few parts so we can distress the sign a little bit. The next thing, we're going to be using this stencil that I got from Amazon, and to hold the stencil I just grabbed two pieces of the painter's tape, and I'm just using the same paint, the Rust-Oleum chalk paint, and I just did first one coat, and I just let it dry. And once it was dry, I went over and did a second coat so it can be a little bit dark, the letters. And once we're done, we're just gonna remove the stencil, and I'm gonna be using the same leaves that they have the stencil, but I'm gonna be using it just on the side of the sign, and I'm just gonna repeat the same step. I'm gonna be using these beautiful bows that I got from Dollar General, and I just choose this beautiful one, and I just gonna be placing it on the top. And I'm gonna be using these beautiful green ears that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna be just placing a few pieces. I'm just gonna be using a little bit of hot glue to glue it, and this is how it looks. Our project once we're done, it turned out really beautiful. This sign, I love it. And also the other thing that I did in the middle, I just grabbed one button that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just placed it on the middle. It was the touch that I need, but please let me know what do you guys think. For our next DIY, I'm going to be using the other side of the piece of cardboard, and to paint it, I'm going to be using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry, and I just want to show you the way that I painted. I didn't cover it all the way because I want the cardboard to show a little bit so we can give this effect that it's wood. The next thing we're doing, we're gonna create lines, and for that I just grab my pencil and my ruler and I just create a few lines. I always love to mark my lines twice so they can be a little bit dark, and once we're done, we're just gonna be distressing a little bit of the lines. I'm gonna be using another beautiful stencil, and I just grabbed 2 pieces of the painter's tape so we can hold it in place. And to paint the letters, I'm using this beautiful color red, and I just did first one coat, and once it's a little bit dry, I went over and did a second coat so they can be a little bit dark, the color. And to paint the leaves, I used the Waverly paint on color moss. I did one coat, and to paint the berries, I used the same paint on color red, and I did 2 coats. And once we're done, we're just gonna remove the piece of painter's tape, and we're gonna remove the stencil. And once it's completely dry, I grab a piece of sandpaper and I just went over on the top to distress a little bit the letters and also all around the leaves. And I went over with a Waverly anti-wax just to distress it a little bit on the edges. I'm really sorry, I lost the footage. And here's the part where I show you that I grabbed one piece of this jute cord and I just place it all around so it can has a finished look. And once I was covering all around the sign with the remaining piece, I just tried to create like a hanger so we can hang this beautiful sign. And with my scissors, I just cut it, and with hot glue, I just hold it in place the other piece. It turned out really beautiful how we create this beautiful hanger. And here's the part where I'm gonna show you how I create this beautiful bow. I just grab this piece of burlap ribbon and I grab a piece of jute twine and I just wrap it so we can give the shape of the bow. And I grab another piece of ribbon and I just create a simple bow and I just use hot glue to put the two pieces together and it turned out really beautiful, the bow. And I did the same step with the other one because I create two side projects, and once we're done I'm gonna be placing it on the top and I just use a little bit of hot glue just to glue it. And I decide to use another beautiful pine cones to place it on the top, and I grab one piece of these red berries and I just place it in the middle. And to give this effect that they have is snow, I just use the same paint and it turned out really beautiful once we give this effect of the snow. I love it. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really beautiful, this other side of the sign. But if you guys have a favorite, please let me know in the comments down below. For our next DIY, I will be using another sign, and to paint it, I will be using the Waverly anti-wax. I did one coat and I just let it dry. I'm using this stencil that I got from Walmart. I used two pieces of the painter's tape so it can hold the stencil in place. I will be using this paint. The first one is the Rust-Oleum chalk paint. I did two coats, and to paint it, I'm just using this small brush that I got from Dollar Tree. The second paint that I'm using is the Waverly paint on color moss. I did only one coat and I just paint the 4 trees. To paint the stars, I used the apple barrel in color red. I did one coat, and once I was done, I just removed my stencil. You guys can just leave the sign at the way it is. I think it turned out really beautiful, but I decided to distress it a little bit more with that Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I just used a little bit of this paint, and once it was dry, I just went over with a piece of sandpaper. I'm going to use this nautical rope and I just cut 4 pieces. So on the end of the rope, I just tie a knot so we can give this finished look. And to glue it, I just use a little bit of hot glue. And once I was done, I just placed the 2 pieces together and I just twist it. And to tie the 4 pieces, I just grab a small piece of jute twine and I just wrap it around a few times so it can have this finished look on the handle. I decide to create lines on the sign, and for that I use the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. If you guys want, you guys can use painter's tape so it can have like a straight line. With the sponge that I use, it worked just perfect. I just create this line with the same paint so they can stand up a little bit more the tree. And with the handle with the brush, I just create dots on the top of the tree so they can give this effect that they have ornaments. I grab this beautiful ribbon and I just cut 2 pieces and I just place it on the side, and I just use a little bit of hot glue to glue it. And this is how it looks, our beautiful sign. Once you're done, it turned out really beautiful. I love how they blend all the colors together. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? going to be reusing this beautiful ornament that I have for a really long time, and to paint it I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did 2 coats and I just let it dry. I just want to mention, if you guys don't have this exactly ornament, I'm pretty sure that you guys can recreate this project using an ornament from Dollar Tree. And to distress the ornament, I'm using the Waverly anti-wax. I just used a little bit of this paint. I'm going to be using this Christmas pick that I got from Dollar Tree. And to give this effect from the snow, I just used the paint, Rust-Oleum chalk paint. And once it was completely dry, I just placed it on the middle of the ornament, and I just use hot glue to glue it, and I just create another beautiful small bow to put it right here. And to hang this ornament, I just grab a piece of jute twine and I just tie it very well in the top. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really beautiful. I love it. And I just create 2 with different embellishments so you guys can have a different options. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? I'm just using one sign from Dollar Tree and I just removed that image, and to paint it I'm using this beautiful Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I always love to use this color, and you guys see me all the time using this color, and maybe you guys are like, oh my god, Daisy, again the color, you don't have any more colors to show. And I just did 1 coat and I just let it dry, and I'm just using this beautiful piece of decor that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just removed the hanger, and where it has the holes I just use a little bit of the spackling just to cover the holes, and I'm just using the same paint to paint it, and I just did 1 coat and I just let it dry. I want to show you this part. When I'm done painting my signs on the edges, I just grab a little bit of the paint with my finger and I just go over all the edges. I think it's more easy for me to do it. I have small brushes, but I just love to do this, and I just want to leave the part for you guys if you guys want to try this easy step. If you guys use wet paper towel, you guys can just remove the paint and it will give this distressed look on the sign, and it turned out really beautiful. It was the first time that I did this technique and it worked amazing. So if you guys want to do this instead of sanding, it works amazing with a paper towel. And my sign, it was kind of dry, not all the way, so it was more easy to remove the paint. And to distress it a little bit more, I'm using the Waverly anti-wax, and I just went over, and you guys can see my daughter, she always loved to show you guys like what she's doing. And to distress it a little bit more on the top, I went over with a piece of sandpaper just to remove a little bit of the paint, and it turned out really amazing once you do this. I'm going to be creating lines on the top of the sign, and I just create a few lines and I just mark my lines twice so they can be a little bit dark. Once I'm done creating all my lines, I just went over with my finger just to distress it a little bit more. And I'm going to be using this beautiful free printable that I found on Pinterest, and I will link it down in my description box below the link. She had this wonderful talented friend, so many beautiful free printables, so I will link it down for you guys. This time I did save the link. So what I did on the back of the image, I just grabbed my pencil so we can trace it, and once we're done, I just grabbed 2 pieces of the painter's tape to hold the paper, and with my pen I just went all over so we can mark the letters. And to paint the letters, I just using the Craft Wise chalkboard paint on color ink. I only did 1 coat, and let me tell you something, it doesn't need to be perfect, the lines. My letters, it was not that perfect, but it didn't matter so much because once it's completely dry, I went over with a piece of sandpaper just to distress it so it can blend with the sign, and it turned out really beautiful. And I'm just using the same Waverly anti-wax just to distress it a little bit more so it can blend all together with the other part of the sign that we're going to put in the top, and I will show you in a minute. And to hang this beautiful sign, I'm using the same hanger, and to secure the hanger, I'm using hot glue, but I'm just thinking right now, I think it will look really beautiful with a piece of the plant hanger. And once I'm done, I'm going to be putting the other part of the sign, and for that I did a combination of wood glue and hot glue, and I just place it. And on the back, I also, to reinforce it a little bit more, I just use a little bit more of the hot glue. I'm going to be using these beautiful Christmas pigs that I got at Walmart, and I'm just going to cut a few pieces and I'm going to place it on the middle, and it turned out really beautiful, but it was missing something else. So for that, I just grabbed these white berries and I just placed a few pieces on the top, and this is how it looks our project once we're done. It turned out really gorgeous. I love it. It's my favorite, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, I'm going to be using the other side of the box that I just showed you on the first project. So to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white. I did 1 coat and I just let it dry. So the next thing, I'm going to create lines, and for that, my box and measure 4 inches, so every inch I just mark my lines, and once I was done, I just connect the lines and I just mark the lines twice so they can be a little bit dark. And once I'm done creating the lines, I'm going to be using my finger to distress all the lines. I'm going to use a small piece of this gift wrap that I have on hand, and also I'm using this wood tree, and I'm just going to use it as a template to cut a few trees. And once I'm done, I'm just going to use my scissors to cut it. In total, I just cut 3 trees. And once I'm done cutting the trees, I'm just going to place it in the bottom. Also, I'm using these stickers that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to guide from the lines that we just create to put our letters. I'm going to be spelling the word Merry Christmas. So once I'm done, I'm going to be using this Mod Podge. So I just did 1 coat and I just put the trees, and I did the same step with the other ones. And once I'm done, I'm just going to be doing another coat of Mod Podge on the top so we can seal everything. Also, I'm gonna be using this ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna be creating a small bow. The other thing that I did with this diamond wrap, I just cut a small piece to put it right here in the middle of the bow, and I just used a little bit of hot glue to glue it. So the other thing, I'm gonna be using a few pieces of the greenery and also these fillers that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna use a little bit of hot glue to glue everything. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. I think it turned out really beautiful, but please let me know in the comments down below, with all the projects that I create today, which one it was your favorite? I'm gonna be using one sign that I got from Dollar Tree, and the first thing, I'm gonna remove that image. I always love to remove that image from my signs, and I just want to show you how easy it was to remove, but it's just my preference. You guys can use the bag to recreate this project, and to paint it, I'm gonna be using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. I always love to distress my sign this way. I always love to do one light coat on the top, and once I'm done, I just let it dry for a little bit, and I just go over again with the same paint. We give this wood effect to the sign. I just love to do this technique. So once it's completely dry, I'm gonna be using 2 pieces of the painter's tape. I just place it on the edges of the sign. I want to create these lines, so I'm just using this color red that I got from Dollar Tree. I did first one coat and I just let it dry for a little bit, and I went over to do a second coat, and once I'm done, I just removed the piece of painter's tape. I just want to show you the paint. It came off a little bit because under the sign it still has this piece of the image, and I didn't remove completely the piece of cardboard, so that's why the paint it came off. But it was really easy fix. I just went over with the same paint to paint it, and once I was done, I create another line on the other side, and I just repeat the same step. Okay, and now I'll be cutting 2 pieces of the painter sticks, and I'm just cut it to the side of my sign, and I just use 1 piece of sandpaper just to sand the edges of the painter sticks. And to paint it, I'm using the same paint that I got from Dollar Tree. I did 2 coats, and each coat I just let it dry the paint. I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention that I did the same step on the bottom of the sign. I just create 2 lines, and I just show you how I did it. So I'm gonna be creating lines on the top, and I always love to use my regular pencil and my ruler. I just love to do this technique because it gives this effect on my sign, but it's just preference. You guys can just leave the sign without the lines. So once I was done marking the lines, I just went over with my finger to distress it a little bit. I just cut my decal to the side that I need to put it on my project. So what we're gonna do next, we're gonna place the decal. I just put water in this glass container, and I'm gonna hold it for about 60 seconds. The next step I'm going to do, I'm gonna grab just a little bit of the water to put it on my sign so it could be more easy to slide the decal. So I'm just showing you how I place it, and with a piece of paper towel I just remove if it has a little bit of bubbles. You guys can just smooth it with a piece of paper and we can dry the image. And once I was done, I just placed the 2 painter sticks, one on the top and the other one in the bottom. And to glue them, I just use a combination of wood glue and hot glue for a strong hold. I decided to distress it a little bit more design, and for that I just went over with the Waverly anti-wax, and I'm so sorry I didn't notice that my lighting, it was covering all the image. So the other thing, I just used these beautiful Christmas pigs that I got from Walmart, and I'm just gonna place a few pieces on the bottom. You guys can just leave it the way it is, but I think it was missing a little bit of this greenery so it can give this finished look. In a minute I will show you how to put this beautiful hanger on the top of the sign so we can hang this beautiful sign, because I just create these two side projects. For the next project, I'm going to be using the other side of the wood truck, and to paint it, I'm using this beautiful color red that I got from Dollar Tree. I did first one coat, and once it was completely dry, I went over and did another second coat. And also, I just grabbed two pieces of the painter's tape to cover the piece of the tires, because I'm going to be using another color to paint this part of the tire. I just grabbed my piece of fabric, and I'm going to be creating this beautiful pocket to put it on the top of the truck. First, I just fold the edges of the fabric twice, and I did the same step on the other two sides. On the top of the fabric, I folded opposite. You guys can see what I'm doing right here, how I fold the other remaining piece of the fabric on the top, and I just create the pocket at the side that I need for my truck. And once I was done, I just used hot glue to put it on the top of the truck. And I just cut one piece of the adhesive cord sheet to place it on the top to give this effect of the window, and also to cover the two holes that they have to hang the truck. And also to put inside, I just used these Christmas pigs that I got from Dollar Tree and these other few pieces that I got from Walmart. And I just cut the pigs and I just placed it inside of the pocket. I decided to create this simple bow to put it on the top. You guys can place it in the middle. And I create another beautiful bow, and I just placed one button in the middle. And it turned out really beautiful, but if you guys want, you guys can just leave it without the bow. And I really don't know what happened with the part where I show you that I distressed on the edges with the Waverly anti-wax, and also I used the same paint to paint the tires. For the next project, I'm going to be using one piece of wood that I had on hand. And what I did first, I just grabbed the candle and I just went over on the top of the sign. I want to do again that technique because I really love it how it turned out the other projects. I just used the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did one coat and I just let it dry. So once I was done, I decided to create lines on the top, and I just marked 3 lines on the top of the sign. And with my pencil, I marked the lines twice so they can be a little bit dark. And with my finger, I just distressed the lines a little bit. I'm gonna be using this beautiful decal that I just create, and I just hold it for 60 seconds, and once I was done, I just grab a little bit of water to put it on the top of the sign so it can be a little bit more easy to place the decals in the top. And once I place the decal, I just remove the back really slowly, and with a piece of paper towel I just went over on the top just to smooth a little bit the bubbles and also to dry on the top. I really love these decals, how they turn out. They're really amazing, and it was really easy to work with it. I'm going to be using this crafter square adhesive sheet that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just cut 2 pieces. It measured 19 centimeters and 1 centimeter wide, and I'm just going to place it on the top. And once I place them, I'm going to be using 4 thumbtacks that I got from Dollar Tree as well. It was missing something else on the top, and I think it's the touch that I need, and I'm just going to be using hot glue to glue it. But if you guys want a strong hold, you guys can use E6000. I'm going to be using these Christmas picks that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just cut a few pieces, and with small zip tie I just tie it very well, the pieces. And with the remaining piece, I just use my scissors to cut it. I just gonna put them on the bottom, and I'm gonna be using hot glue to glue it. I just create a simple bow to place it in the middle. And also, I didn't show you, but I create another just simple jute twine bow, and I just place it on the top, and a few pieces of these red berries, and this is how it looks once it's done. It turned out really beautiful. I love it. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? So that was it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified every time that I upload new video. And please don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much, and have an amazing day.